All right, well, I think we are going to get started here. Oh, we've got one more person coming in. We'll give it just another second.
Oh. Spot over here. You guys sit in the center. Right in the fine spot. What's going on?
All right, so good evening, everyone. My name is Kat Reed. I'm a reporter with 41 Action News, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's City Council Candidate Forum. BikeWalkKC and the Kansas City Regional Transit Alliance have joined forces to host tonight's event, and we'd also like to thank Trans Systems for helping to sponsor this forum. Their hope is to give the public a greater understanding of where the candidates stand on matters related to multimodal transportation. Before we start, let's do a little rundown of the rules for tonight's activities. We will be keeping you all in line on this. Each candidate will be given 1 minute for introductions, 2 minutes to respond to each question, and then 1 minute for conclusions. We have a timekeeper right up here up front. He will hold up cards for each speaker when they have 1 minute, 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and no time remaining. All of the candidates have been given a chance to see the questions beforehand. We're going to go over 2 questions so they can research and prepare their responses. The questions were written by the sponsor organizations of the event. So speakers will get a chance to introduce themselves and answer the first question, which was written by BikeWalkKC. We'll then have a 10-minute break. We'll come back with each candidate answering the second question, which was written by the KCRTA, before allowing candidates time to answer, or rather allowing candidates time for closing remarks. The order of the candidates will go 1st through 6th district, with at-large candidates answering before in-district candidates in each question. Finally, the organizers do want to disclose that one candidate, Eric Bunch, is an employee of BikeWalkKC. He had no part in the planning of this event or the questions asked here tonight. So without further ado, we're going to hear from the candidates. We will start with 1st District at large.
I want to apologize because the invitation I got was still in my email and I was on deadline, so I didn't get a chance to research this. So walkability in the...
Oh, and this is just your introduction. Yeah, just, and you will have 1 minute for your introduction.
Okay, my name is Kevin O'Neill. I'm running for 1st District at large here in Kansas City. I feel like I don't have an opponent, so I'm here because all these guys have been in forums for the last 2 months, and I haven't been to many because nobody invites me because I don't have an opponent. I just want to say I'm really looking forward to serve on the City Council. I've grown up in Kansas City. I have a wealth of background here. My great-grandfather, John Patrick O'Neill, was a city councilman here in Kansas City, also in the 1st District in 1916. My family has been around forever. I have 7 brothers. We all grew up in the Midtown area. I moved north about 8 years ago, and I love it up there. And so that's what I'm doing. Sorry.
Thank you. I'm Dan Fowler. I'm the incumbent in the 2nd District. I'm a candidate for re-election. I currently serve on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee. I'm Vice Chair of the Airport Committee, Vice Chair of the Housing Committee, and I'm Chair of the Ethics and Legal Review Committee. By way of background, my bachelor's degree is from Kansas State University in Business Administration. My law degree is from Georgetown. I have been living in Kansas City since about 1986 in the Northland. Before that, the Kansas City region. I've been practicing longer. I've been practicing law a lot longer than I'm going to admit to if you ask me later. It's been a privilege to serve on the council. I think we've done an amazing job in the last 4 years. I think there's a lot of things we have to do going forward. One of the most urgent things we're going to have to do is to adopt the bike plan. I was a co-sponsor of the bike plan ordinance. I was also a co-sponsor of the Complete Streets ordinance that we passed fairly recently. But thank you very much.
Good evening, folks. My name is Kevin McAvoy. I've been a Northland resident for the last 15 years, and I think this is a particular venue that I connect with really well. In college, I was actually limited to using my bicycle as my only mode of transportation for a couple of years, and I got to experience a lot of the specific needs and opportunities that come with that. And I think that as we continue to develop Kansas City, having a proper bike plan in place is a crucial element, and having a regional transit authority is a very important element as we go through, so people have the opportunity to work and live where they please without having to have issues with transportation. So the first thing I always ask when someone brings a problem to City Hall is, is this something the city needs to address? Do we need to farm this out to the state, to the federal government? Are there programs we can get access to, and can we fund our solution for these problems? And if it isn't a city problem and we don't have funding, we need to figure out where it belongs. But that's me. I'm Kevin McAvoy. Thank you.
Before I say anything, I'm going to say all praise and honor and glory be to God. I'm Brandon Ellington. I currently represent the 22nd District of the state. My district goes from Truce over to Sterling Road in Independence, Missouri. I'm the Democratic whip. I've been in leadership since I've been at the state, and I'm looking forward to coming home to address a barometer of issues, from violent crime to economic density, to employment, to infrastructure, to taxation reform, and these are a lot of things that I've been working on at the state. So when it comes to transit, when it comes to mobility options, I'm all for it. I'm in favor of it. I look forward to the debate. I look forward to engaging fully about not only the issue with the bike plan, but everything else that is affecting Kansas City.
Thank you. I'm Jeff Jolly. I'm a candidate for the 4th District in-district City Council seat. I was born and raised here in Kansas City, just a few blocks south of here in the Waldo neighborhood. Grew up riding my bike down to Lewis Park frequently. And went off to college, ultimately went to law school. And then while I was at law school, 9/11 happened, so that kind of changed the trajectory of my life. I ended up becoming a firefighter. Although I completed my law degree, I don't put it to any good use. But I became a Kansas City firefighter when I moved back here, and have worked for the Kansas City Fire Department about 11 years, and for Congressman Emanuel Cleaver for about 14 years on my days off from the firehouse. So I've worked a lot on transit opportunities in our community. Look forward to having a robust discussion tonight. Thank you.
All right, well, my name's Eric Bunch. Thanks for organizing this, and thanks to my colleagues for organizing this in my absence. As the disclaimer noted at the beginning, my day job is the policy director at BikeWalkKC. I'm the co-founder of the organization, and I've played a pretty active role in expanding the access to public transportation, access to better sidewalks, bikeability, not simply because we think it's a good in its own sake, but because we see biking and walking as a really valuable part of our community, both in terms of better access to healthcare, access to healthy foods, and just creating a more vibrant community. And so I live just a few blocks from here with my wife and 3 children. We've got a 5-year-old and 22-year-olds, and so we've really built a life that is walkable because we really